Hey guys, welcome to Stampin' with Alicia. Here is another day where I am featuring Sending Love Sweet from our Occasions catalog. Remember, any purchases you make over $50, every $50 you spend, you do get a free item out of the celebration. So, today we're going to go a little bit different route. The past few examples I have created have been red and white because that goes with the DSP. And if you look at this, it's very red and white colors. So here's the card I created. And it is using Crumb Cake and Blushing Bride. I thought this would be a different take on a Valentine's Day card, a little bit softer. So I'm going to create a similar card to this. And the supplies you'll need are obviously the stamp set and the dies. I've already taken out the 4 dies I'm going to use. Then a piece of crumb cake and some white cardstock, Whisper White cardstock, scratch. You will only need a little bit. And then here is my card base. And today we're going to be doing a side folding card. So let me grab my Whisper White scratch paper and we will get started. Okay, we're actually not going to use this die. Since I used it in my example card, I wanted to give you something completely different look. So I will put that aside. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take my card base and go ahead and fold it out. And I want to go ahead and take this border die, which is awesome. And go ahead, I line up the edges of the heart right to the edge of the card base. And if you have a grid mat or anything like that, you can use that to guarantee that it is straight. And I also want to make sure that this part and this part are even. I don't want the hearts to start right here and then it kind of ends short. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. If you have a magnetic plate, that would probably work really well. So tape this down and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Okay, I'm going to carefully peel my tape away. And then carefully peel this up. And then this just comes right off. Now what's cool is that if you've been watching my previous videos, this big die is just like this. These pieces are scored and they lift up. So here is my card where you can see how they're lifted up. So really cute, but I don't want to lift them just yet because I want to stamp them. So in my example, I used the floral, and if I was thinking I would have used the smaller to go with this, I would have used that. Because right now with this card, I'm using this one. And but I wasn't thinking that far. So I'm going to use it now, and I'm going to use my Blushing Bride ink to ink up my heart, or hearts I should say. Let me get a scratch piece of paper. Okay, so light tap, and then do my best to line it up. Sorry if I get my head in the way. There we go. And I'm just going to do that with each heart. It fits perfectly. Oops, that one didn't stamp out that great, but that's okay. So it fits perfectly in the hearts. I'm going to leave my Blushing Bride out, and I'm going to go ahead and get my crumb cake ink. And what I want to do is I want to choose the stamp, this stamp right here. And we're going to do some double stamping. I'm first going to start out with Blushing Bride. Make sure it's completely covered. And you can start anywhere you want on your card. I'm going to go, let's look at my example. I'm going to go about right here. I'm going to wipe off my stamp. And then I'm going to take Crumb Cake. And then stamp that just below the Blushing Bride. I got this idea off Pinterest. The lady that did it, it was a little bit different, but she used similar colors, and I just loved the way it looked. So I'm going to take the same stamp, ink it in Blushing Bride again, stamp off on my scratch, and then go ahead and stamp on my card base so we get a lighter tone. And I'm going to do the same thing with the crumb cake. Oops. Make sure I have a little fuzz. Take that off or it won't stamp right. Stamp off on my scratch and go ahead and stamp on my card base. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. Now with my sentiment, I chose, instead of Happy Valentine's Day, I chose Sealed with a Kiss. I thought that was sweet. You can use your Memento or your basic black ink. So I'm just going to ink that up. Memento can be a little bit tricky, so hopefully it stamps okay. And I'm just going to go over there. Hope for the best. Not bad. Then next, I want to go ahead and, let's see, I brought out the lips. I really wanted to use the lips since it was sealed with a kiss. So I'm thinking of just, we'll try it. I'm using my Blushing Bride. I'm going to go ahead and just stamp that right there. Okay, that's adorable. I die cut a few of these just to kind of give me options. I definitely want to use my crumb cake. This I want to ink up with Blushing Bride. If you have the cardstock, I will get the cardstock tomorrow. I would just die cut it out of the cardstock. On this, I used the ink dauber and ink blended that. So we'll see how this comes out with me just stamping it. I kind of want solid coverage. I don't want a white border. So if this gives me a white border, I'll probably just go back to ink blending, which I think it will. Yes, that looks horrible. So what I want to do is, let me grab my white paper. Okay, so if you have the cardstock, which I will, but I wanted to do this for you guys today. If you don't, if you have it, use it. If you don't, use an ink dauber and go ahead and dip it in whatever color you choose and go ahead and ink blend the area you want die cut. Now this is just a piece of cheap white cardstock, so it's not going to be the best at blending. But once you die cut it and it gives a chance for the ink to settle in the paper, it looks beautiful. You would never tell that it was ink blended. So let me find my die a little bit more. There, I think that will work. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut this. There we go. So I have my crumb cake, Blushing Bride, and then for this, I wanted to use this stamp, and I was going to ink it up in Blushing Bride. But if you watched a previous video, I had mentioned how this die is good in 3 ways. You can use the center, the outline, or both. If you just snip it with your scissors. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to snip it because I only want the center. I don't want the little outline. There we go. So you could use that for something else or use this. So let's see. And what's funny is, like, to me, this is a perfect heart, the way it's shaped. And this looks like these little parts are a little bit higher. But the stamp is that way too. They're a little bit higher. If that makes any sense at all. If it doesn't, just ignore. So I'm going to ink my stamp that I'm going to use in my Blushing Bride. And I'm going to try something different. Instead of me trying to stamp over like this, I'm going to see if placing my stamp here will work. I don't know if it will, but we shall see. I don't think it is. I feel it when I put it down. I felt that it was not going to work. But maybe. Okay, that's not that bad. It's not as perfect as I wanted to, but we're going to go with it. So, I definitely want my pieces down here like I did with my example. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my liquid glue. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. And then take my Blushing Bride heart, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. I don't think I mentioned that. It's something you would need if you wanted to recreate this card. Go ahead and adhere that down. Like that. And adhere that here. But I wonder if I want to use this one too. Why not? Let's go ahead and do it. So I'll take my glue again and just add some to the outline and the center. Go ahead and adhere that like that. Make sure to wipe up any excess glue because this glue will dry tacky, so you don't want your card to be sticky. Okay. Then we'll take this one, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this up, just so it's kind of over the crumb cake heart. All right, I think I'm going to add some rhinestones to the card. Just a couple. Well, you know how I like my odd numbers. So let's add one more. Just right there. And I'll go ahead and add some to this one, of course. Use one of the bigger ones. I really like these rhinestones. There we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you are interested in any of the products used today, or any of the other items in the Occasions catalog, you can go to my website, which will be listed below. The products I used today, I will link below to my store. So please give me a thumbs up if you did like this. Let me know your thoughts. And stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be making something using the same suite. It'll be the last day of the little mini series of the Sending Love suite. And I'm going to be making gift bags. So check that out tomorrow. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye.